one most painful surgery to have is spinal fusion. Today we'll talk about just that, but a little specific to me. I had a pretty big spinal fusion done to me when I was younger. I'm gonna give you all the details of my experience with spinal fusion surgery. Disclaimer, if medical details kind of gross you out or bother you in any way, this probably isn't the video for you to watch. Viewer discretion is advised. Spinal fusion is the number one most painful surgery to have, but what's number two? Stay to the end of the video and you'll find out. Where did I get this statistic? I don't remember where, but I know it was told to me once before and I don't remember from who. But they had a credible source. Just saying. Hi, my name's Elizabeth Lisi Ramirez and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video. I'm BelieveELI on all social media platforms. The links are down below in the description. Today, we're getting personal. I'm telling you all about the details of my surgery. Just so you know, I have a written form of this video on my blog and I will link it down in the description. Comes with some pictures and stuff. Again, I do want to say this disclaimer in regards to this story time. Some details are very descriptive and may gross some viewers out. And not everyone likes that. If you think that this could make you uncomfortable or sick, please don't continue watching. If medical details gross you out, this is not the video for you. Go ahead and like the video, please and thank you, and head on over to the next video. I won't be offended. I promise. Oh wait. Okay, and now we're back. Hopefully if you didn't want to stay, you left by now. That's okay. I love you anyways. But to those of you that stayed and want to learn more about me and my surgery and my experience and my craziness, great, here we go. How living with scoliosis and having spinal fusion affected my life. I was 19 at the time. I had just finished high school and I was starting college. I moved to Gainesville, Florida with my, at the time, boyfriend. I moved to Gainesville, Florida to go study at Santa Fe College, which is a community college in that area. I was majored in psychology back then. I do still love psychology, but it just wasn't the career path I wanted to take. Anyways, I knew the surgery was coming up, but they didn't tell me when. They said it's better to do it in the summer so school isn't really affected. So I knew it was coming up, but what was I gonna do? Put my life on hold? No, I was gonna continue school, and when I needed to stop, I'd stop and go back whenever I was ready. I did obviously have to move back to Florida for the surgery. Moved back in with my parents. So, I have scoliosis. Scoliosis is a curvature of the spine. Instead of being straight in the middle of your back, it's a little curved. It could be either way, and there's different kinds of scoliosis. It usually shows up when you're a child or when you're like a teenager. For me, it showed up when I fell down the stairs. Not that it showed up because I fell, but that's when I was told I had scoliosis. I, of course, was running down the stairs, I slipped, and I fell right, like, you know, the tip, like this is the staircase right there, right? That part, that corner part, hit my spine, I think like 2 or 3 times, sliding down, and I was like, oh my God, it was so much pain. It was awful. I had to go to urgent care. I made my mom take me to urgent care because I was in so much pain. I could barely walk. And that's when they told me I have scoliosis. Then I went and I saw a specialist and we talked more in detail about what that meant, what it is, how bad it is, etc. But I was 13 when that happened. So my spine was curved to the right side of my body. This made young me very self-conscious and insecure about my back and what people could see because it did kind of like elevate, like lift up my right side. Ultimately though, I did the surgery for aesthetic reasons, not really because I was in pain. Yes, I was in pain. There was pain, but I did it because I was embarrassed. I was shy about my scoliosis, which is nothing to be shy about because like half the population has it, at least to some degree. I am throwing that statistic right out of my butt, but it's probably accurate. So many people have scoliosis that it really isn't that big of a deal, but young me was embarrassed by it. And yeah, I had pain, but it wasn't as bad as what I endure now every day. But we'll get to that. So what is spinal fusion? Spinal fusion is a surgery where the doctors realign your spine. Sometimes they can't put it right back into the perfect place, but they do improve your scoliosis. In this surgery, the doctors join vertebrae. I don't know what the plural of vertebra is vertebrae, but it sounds weird saying it. So for this video, I'm gonna say vertebrae. Just be aware, I am aware it is not accurate. It's a surgery where doctors join 2 or more vertebrae together by fusing them. The whole point of the surgery is so they prevent movement, further movement, and literal movement. The surgery is also done to prevent pain or further pain. However, my doctor did tell me that it may or may not improve my pain. Now, the surgery could take several hours. Mine took 3.5 hours. First, they make an incision right on your back. They move the muscles to the side, and that way your spine is exposed. Now, I had to fuse 14 vertebrae. 14. A lot. A lot. It was my entire thoracic region. It was my entire thoracic region. I can't talk. And 2 of my lower back vertebrae. So in a spinal fusion, doctors will use Harrington rods, screws, and bone graft. Bone graft could come from your body or it could come from donors. The way the nurses explained this to me was kind of weird, but like the bone graft is used to cement down the spine and the implants now implanted in. The bone graft that my doctors used was from my ribs and from the, vertebrae have that, they're like spiky. From those spikes, they cut off a little bit of the tips. They scraped my ribs. Scraped. Yeah. Like I said before, it can be 2 or more vertebrae. So the surgery could be minor. It could be like a small, maybe you need 3 or 4 vertebrae fused together. I needed a lot more than that. So the way the nurses kind of explained it to me was that they open me up, they collect the bone graft that they need, put it to the side, they kind of, make it like a little mixture of cement kind of thing. The way they said it was they made like ground beef, like pieces of ground beef, like picadillo in Spanish. They mix it up and leave it there, back to me. They then like kind of move my spine. They put in the screws, they measure out the Harrington rod, and they move my spine as much as they can, because obviously my spine is going to be fighting them to go to where it's now used to being. So they try to like straighten it out as much as they could. So yes, I grew in height 2 inches, and I still have scoliosis, so that means I'm supposed to be a little taller. Just saying. Back to what I was saying. So then they did that, they fixed it, right? And then they closed me up with staples, a bunch of staples. And at the bottom, they have like a little tube going in that goes to a bag that kind of collects like blood and whatever my body secretes. Whatever my body kind of lets go of, any liquids and stuff would go into that bag. They then removed that, I think like a day or 2 later, something like that. And this was like at the bottom of my incision. Then it would be rolled back onto my back, and laying on the hospital bed, I went into the recovery room for a bit, and then they moved me to my actual room with my family, where I stayed for 5 days. My surgery was around like 12, like noon, 12 p.m., if I remember correctly. And a physical therapist came to see me like, maybe 4? It was like early afternoon. The therapist had me get up from bed and walk with her around, not like crazy walk, but we walked around the nurse's station, like a time or 2. The therapist told me I could walk. I just need help doing so. Don't try to do it alone, because I might not be able to. But with help, that I could walk, and I should practice walking as much as I can. The way I got up was interesting, to say the least. The bed itself, right, kind of sits. Like it goes into this place where like the legs kind of bend. Well, the leg part kind of bends, right? And then the back goes up, so it kind of looks like a chair, like just like you're sitting up. And then from there, I just get up whatever's left. If you're liking this video so far, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already done so. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Now this is where it gets a little messed up. When I was back in my room, I was on a morphine drip that you press the button for more morphine every 8 minutes. I was hopped up on morphine and whatever else they gave me, but I still had to be the one making the adult decisions. I mean, my mom and my boyfriend was there, but they were no help. They were nervous and scared for me. And my mother is deaf, so there was no proper communication. There wasn't an interpreter there for her. There was no proper communication with the medical staff and her. So she was going off whatever I told her, whatever my drugged up self told her. And then my, at the time, boyfriend, he's just not, like, he's never been in an adult position. Remember, he's my age, so we're kids. Like, to make big decisions for me, really not his place. So I was on my own, my drugged up own. See, growing up with my mom being deaf and my grandmother only speaking Spanish, I was used to adult pressures, adult conversations, adult decisions, but I was literally incapable of making a decision in that state. I promise, I was drugged out of my mind. Well, not really, because, like I said, you could press it every 8 minutes, but I wasn't pressing it every 8 minutes. I would go to sleep, and when the pain got too bad, I would wake up and press the button. It wasn't every 8 minutes. So I guess I could have been worse. By worse, I mean more drugged up. So this is what happened. Well, the hospital bed that I was on was supposed to, like, move. It's supposed to help your back not get used to just staying still, like, just get used to the movement, because I am gonna walk and do all these things, right? But of course, the bed I was on was broken. So we told the nurse it wasn't moving. Nurse came, saw that indeed it wasn't moving, and they said we need to switch my beds. I said, okay, that's fine, I'll get up. And they were like, no, you can't. You can't get up, you can't move. We'll do everything, you just stay there. I was like, no, I got up earlier with the physical therapist. I could get up. They're like, no, that was with the therapist. No, you can't move. At this time, it's already like the nighttime nurses, not the daytime. So the daytime nurses were gone. That left the nighttime nurses with, I guess, not their forte, because they didn't seem like they knew what they were doing. The nighttime nurses apparently don't know so much about spinal fusion surgery process. I don't know. It was weird. But they weren't letting me get up. And I am too drugged up and tired. Like, I'm falling asleep, I'm tired, and I'm trying to fight them like, no, I could get up, I could get up, I could get up. They weren't letting me. I gave up. I just, okay, whatever, just do what you gotta do. Of course, that was a bad idea. Here's what they did. So I'm on a sheet, right? And they called other nurses, and they all got on corners and dragged me to the other bed. Mind you, I just had surgery on my back that is being dragged. I have a brand new back, and it's being dragged. It's like getting surgery on your arm, and then they pull your arm. You just had it. You're just, it's not, It's like cementing down a sidewalk, right? It's nice and flat, and then someone just goes and drags something across. It's gonna leave a mark. It's gonna do something to it. It's not gonna be nice and flat anymore. Mind you, if a patient is immobile, that is the correct way to move them to a different bed, or move them at all. You drag the sheet over to the new bed, however you need to do it. That is correct. But I just had a new back put in. I had back surgery. That's not okay. At least to me, it didn't seem okay. As soon as they moved me, my back was on fire. Literal fire. It felt like I was on fire. Like if you were to burn yourself, my entire back was just burning. Crazy, crazy burning. I was pressing the morphine. I was asking, I screamed, I yelled, I was crying. I was pressing for more morphine, and they wouldn't give me more morphine. Before that, I was, like I said, pressing it every so often. I was able to sleep. After that, I was not sleeping. I was awake, pressing the button. I was like, pressing the button. My eyes were closed, but I was awake, pressing the button. And I don't know if I hallucinated this, because hello, I am drugged up, but I could swear I heard a nurse like yelling at another nurse. I don't know if that's real or not, but I could swear I heard it. Anyways, that's why I think my nerves damaged back there. I'm pretty sure that's where my chronic pain comes from. The stupid night nurses. And then like whatever, after that, I guess my body got used to the morphine and got addicted to the morphine, that when they tried to like get me off it because I was getting ready to go, I was shaking. I could not go to the bathroom at all. And normally they're not supposed to let you leave the hospital until you make a bowel movement. My body refused to. They put suppository, gave me laxatives, they tried everything, and it just, nothing was coming out. They ended up just telling me, yes, I could leave, but with the condition that I have to call them when I finally poop, which I didn't for 14 days, by the way. Do you know what that is? 14 days without pooping? I was so bloated. I looked like I was like 4 months pregnant. I had a poop baby. Poop baby. I was 2 weeks old, poop baby pregnant. Anyways, the doctor had told me that I wasn't gonna need therapy, that I just need to walk at home and practice walking, you know, doing things in this new way that I'm gonna be doing it because I can now not bend. The pain was so bad. I was taking like 4 Percocets every 4 to 6 hours and it hardly worked. Everything I would do hurt. I had to like relearn how to do simple basic things like breathing, walking, talking, showering, eating, sitting, sleeping, everything. Every step I took hurt me. Every deep breath I took hurt me. I couldn't bend, so I needed help getting dressed. It took me almost a year to figure out how to put on socks. Because since I can't bend, there's like a weird, you know, way to figure out. I would watch my grandmother, my 80-something-year-old grandmother, put on her socks to get ideas on how I could put on my socks. I literally had to sit down with her one day. I called her into my room and was like, look, I need you to take off your socks and put them back on. I need to watch this. She's like, what? I'm like, I don't know how to put on my socks. I've been trying and I just can't figure it out because I can't bend. So like, can you help me? That literally had to relearn how to do everything. I had to learn how to drive again, how to get in and out of cars. Every tiny little bump in the road would hurt. I mean, the car ride back home from the hospital was hell. Hell. I was screaming at my mother in pain. Screaming. And it's obviously not her fault. It's the road in Miami. But I was in pain. I felt so bad. Eating was difficult. Breathing. I don't think I could emphasize how much breathing, what is necessary to survive, hurt. I had to relearn how to live. Even now, years later, there's sometimes times where I forget how to do it. Like I forget the new way. Like for example, getting in and out of a car. This always happens to me. Sometimes I forget that I have to like bend a certain way or get in a certain way. And like right now, I couldn't tell you the way I get in and out of a car. But if I forget, I end up bumping my head or hitting myself, hurting my back, doing something weird and hurting myself. All because I'm doing it pre-surgery way, the pre-Elizabeth way. I was also given an incentive spirometer. Wow, I don't know what came out there. And it's like this little device where it has a tube and you kind of suck in air and it shows you how much air or how much power you used. I don't know exactly, but point is, you're supposed to get it up high as you can. And I was going like barely moving. On my blog post, I have a picture of what that looks like. It hurt so much to use it, and the doctor said I didn't really need it, so I paid no attention to it. And I think that's how I developed my asthma, like my breathing problems. My lungs had gotten used to tiny breaths. So when it did a deep breath and all the movement that involves that, it hurt. But then it's also why I think when I started smoking, it improved my breathing. If you think about it, here's why. Like when I would smoke a vape, you breathe in deeply, right? You breathe in deeply and then you let go slowly. That's essentially what I was doing with the spirometer. I just wasn't doing it with the spirometer. I was doing it smoking, apparently. I know it's weird, but I think smoking helps me. I was doing a lot to improve, taking a bunch of medications, trying to help me with my asthma, my allergies, my breathing. It was just a mess. And it didn't help until I started smoking. So I really think it was that. Now, I'm not saying go start smoking and it helps your breathing problems. I'm not saying that. That is not the correct way. It is not safe. Please do not try this at home. No. There are better ways, I promise. My case was just that my lungs weren't going to its full potential, and that is how my body decided to go to its potential. I don't know, but don't do it. I needed help carrying groceries, pouring out milk in my cup, pouring anything into a cup, really. Stretching, everything hurt. I stopped putting my bags on the floor. I put it on higher level so I don't have to bend. I would avoid things that required me to bend because it hurt. I was like a 19-year-old baby. A 19-year-old baby right out of the womb. Relearning everything from scratch. Now, I don't regret my surgery. I don't. I really do not regret it. Because if you remember, I didn't do it for pain or for whatever reason. I did it for aesthetic reasons. I wanted that hump to go down. And it did. Therefore, my goal was achieved. Happy. I don't regret it. But it sure has made my life a little bit more difficult every day. I mean, the silver lining is my scoliosis is better and is not gonna get any worse. It's stuck there. And I'm never gonna be like a little old lady with that huge hump. I can't. This is how I describe humps. Hump. Because I can't bend. It's more of shoulder work. Yeah. But yeah, there's my story. I know this video is a little long, but I hope I kept you entertained. If you have any questions for me or comments, concerns, anything, send me a comment in the comments below. Or if you have had spinal fusion, let me know how your experience was. Not everyone was weird and crazy like mine. A lot of people are perfectly fine. I have a friend who had spinal fusion surgery and she's perfect. Perfect. So it just depends. My experience was different. Let me hear about yours. So the answer to the question from the beginning of the video, what is the second most painful surgery to have? Knee surgery. Again, my name is Elizabeth Lisa Ramirez and thank you for watching.